Would you ever bring Buffy to Broadway?
You mean like take her to a show? I would. I can't say that I will, or that by the time I try to, anyone will want me to, but yeah, I think she belongs there. In the theater opposite where Dr. Horrible is.
So, as everyone can attest, you're a master of breaking our hearts by killing off fan favorites, Tara, Anya, Giles, Joyce. But on a scale of 1 to 10 for Buffy Season 9, how badly are you planning on smashing our hearts into the ground and pulverizing them?
Look, you all know I want you to suffer. It's like a drug. Season 9 is not designed around tragedy, but then life seldom is. It just happens. Do I plan to do something awful and break your hearts? I'm not going to tell you. But Season 9 has some very edgy stuff in it, some very new stuff in it, but it is not built around darkness per se, except in the fact that, Buffy is always trying to find out who she is, which can be complicated and sometimes dangerous and sticky and weird. But whether or not I'm going to do something appalling in Season 9, I will not reveal, because that would take out the fun of your suffering. I wasn't going to, but now I am, because of him.
Hi, I just wanted to say my sister and I love your show. So I was curious, what is your reaction to the queer community's absolute love of your show? Because I know there's a big following in the queer community for your show.
Well, I'm against it. Yes, you're making the Lord angry. You didn't think I was going to bring up Alien Resurrection, but I am. That Alien Resurrection, its sole virtue for me was when I was writing it, discovering, the idea of Clone Ripley and Robo Winona, kind of coming to terms with the idea of being considered less than human, despite the fact that they were both, powerful and beautiful. Thinking and internalizing that and feeling like an underclass of human being. And to me, I was like, this is a very powerful metaphor, in particular for the gay community, and for teenagers who are struggling with that. And ultimately, it's a metaphor for everybody who feels like an outsider. But that was my first thought. That was what made it interesting. And Buffy was basically sort of an extension of that kind of storytelling. I didn't actively go out with an agenda, but it absolutely means everything to me that the gay communities have embraced the shows, because they are for them as much or more than anyone else.
Obviously, a huge fan of your writing and of Firefly. Amazing. And I know we're all shaped by the stories of our youth, but do you have anything from your life experience as a child that has really contributed to the richness in your writing?
I actually managed to get through my childhood without having a life experience. I stayed in my room, and my life experience was reading Frank Herbert. Does that count? Is that similar to our experience? I was afraid of most things, I didn't have a terrible childhood or anything, but I I don't really feel that I had a remarkable one either. You know, the things that you see: fear, helplessness, pain, loss. You know, these things are things I was struggling with. The sense of aloneness. These are, you know, very common issues with me, but they weren't based on spectacular events that I can recount to you in a David Copperfieldy way. I can just say that, yeah, you know, I was a little bit pathetic. Just a little bit. I've, you know, not anymore though. I'm totally cool. Beautiful hair. So, sorry, it's kind of a lame answer, but there it is. I really was kind of a shut-in.
Hey Josh, given the work that DC's been doing with their animated films and that a number of your actors have been doing voice parts for them, is there a Buffy Season 8 animated feature in our future?
How much money do you have on you? I ain't again it. We spent a lot of time and noble effort trying to put a Buffy animated show on the air, and with zero success. It still baffles me to this day. I'm also waiting for somebody to call me and tell me it's time to make that Serenity sequel, but... But they won't. Sorry, that much love, I had to destroy it. So, you know, I think it lends itself to it. It's right. It's like when people say, should you make a Firefly musical? I'm like, no, that is a bad idea. That is like Cops Who Rock. But something like animated Buffy as a feature, as a, you know, as a straight to DVD, as a series, it makes perfect sense. Like a Buffy musical, they just make sense. Should I say Serenity sequel again and be so excited?
Hi Josh, thanks for coming out here. So I was in a literature class the other day, and we were asked to think of male feminist authors, and you were the first one that came to mind. So my question is, why do you consistently include strong female characters in your writing?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Was it why do I write them?
Yes.
There is a video on YouTube that can help you with this question. Look up Equality Now with my name, and you should look up Equality Now anyway. But at the end of the day, I have many answers for it. They have to do with my mom, who's an extraordinary woman and a great feminist. They have to do with the people in my life. They have to do with a lot of different things, but I don't know. Because I'm not just writing strong female characters for other people. I have a desire to see them in our culture that was not met for most of my childhood, except occasionally by James Cameron. Cameron and Miyazaki, those were the guys who were getting it done way before me. But I don't know why I think I'm a 14-year-old girl with superpowers. I don't look like one. But I can't get past it. In fact, the only trouble I've had with the Avengers is I'm like, where is the 14-year-old girl superpower? I'm very confused. Is it you, Robert Downey Jr.? Probably Clark Gregg.
Hey there, Joss. Thanks for coming. Considering you mentioned to J.J. Abrams last year how much you enjoyed the new Star Trek reboot, I was wondering if you would ever consider lending your amazing voice to those iconic characters in the comics, maybe for IDW or what have you.
I don't think so. I'm actually going to say no to this one because I think Star Trek, what makes Star Trek great is a little ephemeral and not something that I would be chasing because they are their own voices. And for me, the comics, it's harder for them to capture. And I've not read, there may be wonderful Star Trek comics and I'm not dissing on them, but for me, that's not something I'm attracted to because I'm interested in the way they're going to create the universe visually in a film or a TV show. I'll see every new incarnation of it, and I did love JJ's. But for the comics, if I was going to, spend my time, it's extremely difficult. I would not want to wade into something with that much history and that much difference. I don't feel the payoff would be great. I'd rather work on something new or something that I've already done, but in comic book form, because I seem to do that all the time.
Hi. Can we expect to see a Dr. Horrible 2 anytime soon?
The thing that you have to understand is yes. I'll just say this. I've worked on a number of songs. I got a demo from Jed Marissa, a song that actually Zach pitched that they wrote, and as soon as I heard it, just like when we did the first one, I just said I would respectfully like to withdraw my songs. I'm sorry. Because it's so good.
Hi, Joss. Ben Edlund, will he be writing any of the new comics for season 9?
I have not approached Ben about this, but if I can get Ben in any of my houses at any point, I want Ben in my house. And an amazing singer. What? Yeah. No, actually, Ben is a guy that, there's no other way to put this, we hate. Because while he's pitching great ideas for Angel, he's drawing really amazing drawings that he's just leaving out on the table and then going into his office and playing guitar beautifully and singing. And we're like, come on! Leave us something! That guy's crazy. He is actually crazy, but in a talent way.
Okay, Joss, my question is, on both Angel and Buffy, it seems the 7th episode seems to be the most significant that will foreshadow the rest of the season. Was that deliberate?
I'm sorry, could you ask that again, please?
Okay, in both Buffy and Angel, the 7th episode of each season seems to be the most deliberate, like they will foreshadow the rest of the season. For example, Lie to Me, conversations with dead people, Once More with Feeling. So was that a deliberate thing or just a coincidence?
It was based on the fact, usually, that the 7th episode would be the second one that I could direct. And so I would save all the goodies for myself. It's not kind of me, but I could. There it is. Oh, there's more. Okay, I thought we were done. It's like, oh, that's it. I've given you all the knowledge I have. Go forth and.
Hi, Joss.
I'm not aware of that film. Sorry.
First of all, I'm a huge fan. And I actually didn't have a question to ask you until you mentioned that you would love to write 5 standalone characters in their own comic arcs, and I was curious who they would be and what you would write if you had the time.
Well, if I knew what I would write, I would have written it. I'm not positive. Obviously, Willow has a journey to go through that is very much her own. As I mentioned, Illyria is near and dear to my heart. And, the Kennedy Riley book is going to be, I think, probably the most popular. You know, there are a lot. It's hard. I'm sort of deeply in love with all of these characters, and I could give them all solos. There are a few that I'd like to see really highlighted. Some of them are dead, but well, how often has that stopped me?
Hi, Joss. I was wondering, in the future of the Buffyverse, will there be stories that make Dawn a stronger character?
That make Dawn a stronger character? Well, I'm not going to turn her into a superhero. She is going to be going on her own life's journey and having her own identity and not just being a little sister anymore, which is going to become increasingly problematic for Buffy. I don't think of Dawn as a particularly weak character. I think we all know that she might have complained once or twice on the show. I always felt that she had more reason to complain than almost any teenager I knew, but wanted to play more variations with her character than I got to. I don't think of her as weak, though. I think she's very much